today's the first day with a partial relaxing of the lockdown in Scotland. So we're making the most of it and we're going to the beach, which is fairly nearby, so we're allowed to under the new regulations. So we're stacking functions basically, we're multitasking. So we're going to collect a load of seaweed that we can use on the beds. That's something we're trying to do right throughout the winter, but of course we had to stop in spring because as soon as the lockdown hit, that was it. We could have maybe got away with it because with only a croft we've got a legal right to collect seaweed off the shore. So we could have claimed it was essential agricultural use, but it would have been pushing it a bit, and who wants to be that person? So we've not. So today's the first day that we are. So another reason for going to this particular beach is it gets a lot of plastic wash up at it. We're members of the local beach cleanup group, and normally it's kept on top of, and you know, by spring it was looking really good. You know, everyone was keeping on top of it, everyone was doing a little bit, and it wasn't a problem. But with the lockdown and the bin service not being fully manned, that's one of those things that they just haven't had the capacity to deal with. So the advice has been to not bring any plastic off the beach, and of course no one's been able to travel there anyway, so it's just been building up. We haven't been to the beach in months, but we've been told by friends online that it's bad. So we're going to go and we're going to get as much as we can, but only as much as we can bring and dispose of ourselves. And a lot of stuff that washes up we can make use of directly as is. You know, it's actually useful stuff. So things like cord, so sections of net that just get chucked over the side of trawlers and have been for decades. We collect all of that. Anything that's above about a foot long we keep. Yeah, there's a bit, it's everywhere. And we use that as twine in the garden because, I mean, garden twine's really expensive, it doesn't last long, it's not particularly UV stable. That stuff's free, and most of it's been freestyling around the North Atlantic since the 1970s, and it's still in perfect nick. It's going to cope with a couple of decades in our back garden without a problem. So again, it avoids stuff going into landfill and so on. But you never know quite what you're going to find, so that's fun. And you get to do it while you're getting your exercise as well, which is key. I mean, we're fairly active having the croft, but personally I haven't left the croft in about 10 weeks. Which is, you know, even with 5 acres to wander around, it's a long time to be, you know, without a change of view. So that's going to be really nice, just being able to stretch my legs a little bit. So yeah, that's the plan so far. Never know what we're going to find, so it should be an interesting one. Just about halfway down the beach, and it's been sand so far, but this section's great, because you can see that the sea itself, and so in some places the wind, but the sea here sorts all the material out into different sized pieces, and this block gives us species roughly that size. So it's a really nice place to collect sea glass. Usually get a bit of. Further along the beach, right in the centre, there's a bit where large plastic items tend to get washed inland. Someone's already beaten us to that today, but we've got a few bits. And in really, really high winds, stuff gets thrown up and over the dunes. So we've got a 13-year-old who's running along the crest on the way back to the van just to see if there's anything that's flown over of the dunes. And it stays there until it breaks down, and you know, I've found stuff that's been there for years. So it's nice to get it while it's still good and usable. So yeah, using the sea to sort your materials for you. There's other places on the beach where there's tiny, you know, the microplastics, little bits that are broken off stuff, but you can come along and you could basically sieve it out if you wanted to. There's another bit of the beach right at the far end where the little plastic wraps that come along like lobster creels, where they specifically wash up in 10-15 meters long. So it's really useful. Instead of, you know, walking along the whole time with your eyes down, you can go specific bits and you get the maximum benefit of, well, getting rubbish off the beach or just getting free materials. So we went back to the beach again the other day and we were a bit more successful. So we've got it all piled up, including the stuff that we got the other day. So this is the seaweed that we fetched. That's mostly the same plastic as we fetched the other day, but we've added to it, and obviously we've been back since. So what we've got, We've got enough seaweed probably to do us most of the season now, with what we've already got. So that's about 150 litres of seaweed, and that should give us about 5 or 6 litres of really good quality seaweed extract. Found this log. That wasn't easy getting off the beach, 1.5 miles, but it's a great big lump of wood. It's been pickled in salt, so we'll stick that in with all the rest of the driftwood just for building stuff. We'll get to it at some point. Also found that one. It's not a bad little bit of wood. We'll make some use of that. And none of it's ideal, but it's free, you know, it's all free stuff. We've got loads of rope, but most of it's a bit like this. See, it's tangled, it's going to take some sorting out, but it's like between 6 and 10 feet each length. You need that all the time. And then we got a load of this stuff, and that's mostly one piece. It's just indestructible core. It's brilliant stuff. It's used from from the fishing industry, so it's designed to be dragged down the seabed forever. We got 2 of these crates that we use for growing trees in. They're superb. They're really strong. You can't buy plastic like this. You know, like the plastic crates you get for shoving stuff under your bed and all the rest of it. There's a bit too much weight in that, and you grab it, snap, straight to landfill. These things last indefinitely, so we use them in the garden, and they wash up all the time. They must get washed overboard by the thousands. That's going to go to the materials pile because it's a useful shape. That's going to be handy. The wellies, we pull them off, sometimes just to go in the bin, but when they're in good nick like this, we'll put them upside down and we'll stick them on top of posts just to stop the posts from rotting out, and it's a bit of fun. All in all, I think we've worked it out as 31 kilo of plastic off the beach just from these 2 trips. As well as we picked up a load of free materials and some materials that you just can't buy. And we've had a couple of nice afternoons out. So yeah, not a bad way of stacking function.